Google is one of the most customer-centric companies you can think about.
Difficult customers are the best customers to have because they really push your limit.
And your consumers want to see content that reflects, the social fabric.
The starting point of this whole business excellence framework is in terms of understanding who our customers are.
Times, vertical heads within an organization carry their individual set of priorities, and they may or may not be totally aligned with one another, and may or may not be, more importantly, aligned with the overall customer centricity goal for the company as a whole. So in your experience with the Godrej, and if you've had multiple roles in sales, marketing, manufacturing, over the years, how do you see this interfunctional collaboration as a tool for customer centricity?
Godrej and Boyce, we run 14 businesses. So I think there are two sets of challenges that we face. One is, how do we get the 14 businesses to take a common view and promote customer centricity across them? That's one. And the other is in terms of, within a BU, there are multiple functions, and how do we get everybody to align to serve the customers better? So let me begin with the more difficult part, the 14 BUs. So I really think it begins with the tone at the top, and we are promoter owned. And I think our entire approach, our culture is kind of shaped by how they look at customers and what kind of standards they expect us to serve customers with. So if there's one thing that we dread at Godrej is a customer complaint going to Mr. Godrej. Because if there is a complaint, then he will go down into details, and it's all a question of finding out whether we had a process or not. If we had a process, where did it break down? What are we doing to mend the process even as we attend to the customer? So I think the tone at the top is the first part. See, the second is all Godrej business leaders, and as I mentioned, we have 14 business leaders. So very early in their careers, when they take over a business, they are told that they are not business unit heads, but they are Godrej and Boyce leaders. And the interest of Godrej and Boyce comes first. So even in the KRAs and goals, there is a KRA in terms of what they are doing to serve the interest of Godrej and Boyce, which is serve the interest of Godrej and Boyce customers. Also, what helps us is the fact is in our company, leaders do not grow vertically. In the sense, the BU heads could have been working with some other businesses in the past. So there's much more of empathy, collaboration, sharing. The third part is we have created a mechanism which we call the functional councils. So we have a functional council for manufacturing, for marketing, for design, for finance, for HR, where we get the functional heads of all the BUs to have a common view of what the customer wants and how we can serve them better. That's three. And the last part is we drive a strategic initiative that is driven from my office. So we call it Godrej One. Sometimes we also refer to it as an integrated Godrej offering. So given the width of our categories, or given the width of the category play that we have a lot of customers and consumers who buy more than one category. So the requirement from the customer was that they would prefer to deal with a SPOC who could have backend support from all businesses. So we have created a structure wherein we have an individual who could be from any business, and this is really the business with the maximum stake with the customer, who front ends the relationship, but is supported by all other participating businesses at the back end, and this is overseen by my office. So I think the tone at the top, telling business leaders that they represent the entire company and not their own business unit, driving a strategic initiative where we can serve customers well, keeping in account that they buy multiple categories which belong to different multiples, and creation of this functional councils helps. That's one.
Got it.
At the BU level, it's a little easier. The BU head sets the tone, but we have for the last 15 years we have been on this journey of CII business excellence, which is some kind of a modification of the EFQM model. So I think the starting point of this whole business excellence framework is in terms of understanding who our customers are. And when we speak about customers, it's multiple stakeholders. It's not restricted to the person who buys. So, there are the regulators, the society at large, so on and so forth. And then, taking a holistic view and then telling everybody that if these are our customers, how do we serve them well? And then it's about, formulating a strategy. It's about executing the strategy. It's in terms of looking at scores, both perceptual scores as well as, the hard numbers. And then there's a feedback loop to that.
Sure.
I think some of these things help us a lot.
Yeah. No, I think you've mentioned some interesting tools and processes that you built that kind of create that empathy and that environment of collaboration, keeping that single core in mind.